One small step for man.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a metal freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Yeah. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a metal freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut. She says that I'm cool. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I believe in G.O.D. Don't believe in T.H.O.D. She keep playing me down. I'ma play her for fun. Don't really know my mental. Let me give you the picture like stencil.
Hi, this is John Cullen. Welcome to another episode of Web of Deception. In this episode, I'm joined again by my co-host, Jason Goodman. Jason, thanks for joining me. This is going to be awesome. Big week. Hunter Biden's laptop.
Yeah.
51 members of the intelligence community said it has all the markings of a Russian counterintelligence cover-up, except the FBI said not really. What a week. What a week. The FBI brings this thing and says, yeah, it's kind of real.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to review all 51 people that signed that letter this week. But the connection between Adam Sharp, the laptop, and the whole Web of Deception, George Webb thing, that's what I think people are curious about. Everybody wants to understand this better. A lot happened this week. So why don't you kind of help us with the stuff we can talk about on YouTube? And then when we go to the patron-only portion, I'm sure you'll take us into a deeper part. But yeah, why don't you walk us through who we have here on the thumbnail? Of course, Web of Deception. We have the Black Widow himself. So we got George, and then we've got the. This just cracks me up when you sent me this thumbnail. I'm just cracking up from this, and I'm thinking
Mario
these guys,
Brothers.
They've got to be asking their management, can we drone these guys yet? Can we drone these guys yet? It's like, please, can we, come on. We can just take them out now.
Well, I think he tries to sue me for this, but he's a public figure abusing the courts. But we're going to talk about somebody. I mean, I've mentioned this person, but you probably don't recognize just offhand who that is. Vivian Schiller. It's amazing the role that Adam Sharp and Vivian Schiller, quite obviously, in my opinion, based on evidence I've seen in the public domain, quite obviously played a role in covering up this Hunter Biden laptop story. Because remember, Adam Sharp was first of all, he was the head of, news and elections and politics. He had all kinds of different weird titles at Twitter.
Right.
Yeah, U.S. government liaison, head of elections. At one point, there's a New York Times article that talks about how he's tasked with going around Congress and whoever has a Twitter account, he's verifying them. Remember when the blue check mark was this sort of black box mystery? There are these people who disparage you for having a blue check mark on Twitter, but it actually makes a lot of sense. It's essentially the exact same thing, John, that you and I do with the micro sponsorship. All of our viewers who value this work and recognize that we don't have giant corporate sponsors and this type of stuff gets kicked off of YouTube, and in 4 years you earn $46 on Rumble, but people who like the show become sponsors on subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen and patreon.com/IamJohnCullen and odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth and crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com. It's a long list of things that people can use to sponsor the show. But the point is, people who've been watching for a while have probably heard me mention Vivian Schiller. I was talking about verifying people on Twitter. That micro payment each month, it's not that much money. It's like $5, $3, whatever it is. But it just proves that there's a person behind that account. You're not having 1,000 accounts at $5 a month. If you want to troll us for $5,000 a month, I'll take it,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you bring this up because this is an interesting twist. Back in the day, so to speak, before Elon bought the company, the blue check mark was not something you had control over.
Right.
You didn't have the option of
That's
paying
what I mean.
$50, $100. It was
Right.
up to them. They were picking, well, this is
And it
the
was
velvet rope
arbitrary.
section. Right. This is the velvet rope area.
Right.
And these guys are going to get the special bracelet.
Influence. They got to decide who had influence. And look, to a great extent, they still are. How do we know this shouldn't be 341,000 followers based on the, the research that you're doing and everything? And, I mean, this thing that went to 2.1 million with Norm, some of this stuff seems maybe anomalous. I don't know that they necessarily want us achieving this level of influence on Twitter, but that's just it. Adam Sharp was there, meeting with the politicians, deciding who's going to have reach on Twitter.
It's important when. So when he was at Twitter, up until when? Because that's going to be important here. So when did he leave Twitter?
2016, December 28th, remember?
So right after the election.
Yeah, because exactly. That whole meeting happens with Democracy Alliance, and he sends that PR newswire. See, we have Adam Sharp leaves Twitter. PR Week, I think it is. And yeah, so remember, PR, this is a press release that he sends. He's paying somebody to put this out. So he's the head of news, government, and elections. He departs. He sends this on December 28th, but as early as December 9th, these tweets are revealing he's, letting everybody know he's leaving the tweet hole. But that meeting took place in November, where they had that whole.
All right. So he's there for the first election where they don't expect Hillary to lose, but he's not there during the Joe Biden and the laptop and all that. So he's not there during the laptop saga.
Well,
right? He's not at Twitter in 2020.
He goes into emergency mode after Trump is elected. So the sequence, and it is difficult to follow, I acknowledge that. So it's a good time to go through it. They have the whole Steele dossier, which is talking about Trump going to a hotel in Moscow and paying hookers to urinate on a bed. Never once do we see any surveillance. Moscow is a modern city. 2011, 12, they have video cameras at hotels, little check-in books with, Yaroslav, the bellhop. He's going to remember Mr. Trump. Where's Svetlana, the hooker? No testimony, nothing like that. But anyway, the point is, the 2016, they figure that Steele dossier and just the fact that somebody's being investigated by the FBI should be sufficient to prevent anybody from wanting to vote for this guy. But then he gets elected. And in November, that Democracy Alliance thing has that meeting, which it's spoken about in the Time magazine article. This is where they all meet and decide to save democracy by destroying Donald Trump's ability to govern or do anything. And that's November 14th or 18th, something like that, 2016. Then I believe they laid out their, La Resistance battle plan at that meeting. And then after that, on December 28th, Adam Sharp issues this, PR Week, press release here that he's leaving Twitter. And that's the same exact day that Benjamin Wittes sends an email to James Comey saying, hey, I don't know if this document is real or false. And by the way, when you think about it, so you were talking about this letter signed by 51 people. It's the same thing that Ben Wittes is doing. Hey, I'm not saying I made this document. I don't know anything about it. I just sort of found this crumpled up under somebody's lunch or something.
Well, hang on. So we're on to a sequence of events here that's very weird and suspicious. So
yeah,
he leaves Twitter Same day, Ben Wittes over at Lawfare/Brookings sends this
Yeah,
letter to James Comey's
right,
pseudonym saying, you should
right.
probably check this out. And when we finally got to open the pinata,
Mm.
when we finally got to see the document that all the hullabaloo was about, that Brookings had to get in touch with James Comey about, Charles Ortell's on the list, a whole bunch. It's just basically a list of names. And it's like, yeah, I'm looking at him like, yeah, what the hell is James Comey got to see this for? To me, it was like a pinata that doesn't even have
Well, it's
Bazooka
a
Joe.
setup. It's a
It's like,
setup.
it's crap. It's like, what is this? This was it?
You
It was
see,
a, huh?
the payoff never comes because again, they want a certain, they're setting up all these different things. It's like Costello with Michael Cohen. They didn't get Costello, so they just forget about it. But they set up all these things. They're trying to make a lot of complicated things happen in court. So they need
All right,
to set up these sophisticated ruses, and they frequently fail. So one of the ways in which this one failed, remember, we spoke about Peter Smith last week. They wanted Peter Smith to entice Charles with these 33,000 stolen emails, which I don't believe they actually had 33,000 stolen emails. They were trying to get fake stolen emails that they would later prove to be fake. And then any discussion about these emails, they'd say, oh, you mean those fake emails. But Charles is not a dummy, and he did not want these emails, so he just never engaged on that. So, they try all kinds of different things, and they don't often work. But at this stage of the game, it was like all hands on deck. So Adam Sharp was leaving Twitter to, I don't know what their plan was, but he eventually, this is 2016, he eventually goes to the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and he becomes the CEO of that. 2 years
When
later.
does he? 2 years later.
2018, he becomes the CEO of NatTest.
Can we, you know what? I got a fun idea. Can we do something real quick?
What?
Because I'm really curious. I found a really cool trick I think you're going to like. I use Perplexity to check LinkedIn. So I go to perplexity.ai and I ask Perplexity, according to LinkedIn, where did Adam Sharp work between 2016 when he left Twitter and 2018 when he joined NatTaz? And Perplexity will go do the work for us. It's amazing.
We know already. He was just running Sharp Things LLC, which is the thing. That's that political consulting company where, it shows him looking like he wants to make out with Obama. And as soon as I started entering evidence about that thing into court, he deleted the web page.
Right. And that's in Stamford, Connecticut.
Well,
So that's
just
not a
registered to his house. That's why they got
so
upset
that's not
when
a children's toys. Those are not children's toys. So Sharp Things LLC, those aren't children's toys for 3-year-olds, right? We're not trying to hurt kids here. He's a consulting guy. So Sharp Things are not children's toys.
No.
It's strategic consulting and project management. Okay.
His whole
It's nonsense.
thing.
He doesn't have a
his whole-
job. So he
No.
doesn't have a job.
His whole thing, and it's legitimate. He's an expert in, media and politics. He's got a very kind of actually lengthy career working with, Obama and lots of people. But I'm not kidding. That's his website is deleted. When I entered this evidence in court, he deleted the website. So we have to go all the way over here to archive to even see it. But it was sharpthings.io. He's appearing on the news and he's telling everybody about all kinds of whatever. So, we're talking about the laptop cover-up. And so that's happening, remember, in October of 2020. But we've got to get in depth on this. And
in October 2020, he's at NatTest. He's at the Emmys, handing out awards to ESPN to people.
They're flying
who
out the
don't
window to ESPN. You just know
don't
who's
really work
getting
there.
them. Yeah,
We got the
Kukla,
whole
Fran, and
ESPN.
Ali are getting them.
And by the way, I think the daytime Emmys, I think were just last week as we're recording the show. I think they just did the daytime Emmys last week.
Maybe.
I think so. So he's in charge of the daytime Emmys. It's like a certain category.
Sports, news,
Right.
daytime shows, online stuff, kids shows.
So the ESPN. So the
everything
ESPN
that's not
debacle.
primetime television is them.
There you go.
Cable.
All right. So he's got the ESPN. He's got the ESPN debacle. That's on him.
Look, there,
His watch.
that's Professor Hulk. What's his name? Brett Weir.
Bear.
What's his name?
Brett Bear. With a beautiful home in Washington. We looked at Brett Bear's house that was $38 million or something like that. So, all right. So there's that aspect of it.
And he tells us he's a political operative, Adam Sharp. He denies it in court now, but this website says that. And there's video of this guy all over the place. What's amazing is he's the president of television. Here, he's probably friends with Rabbi Shmuley, I bet. But he's the president of television, yet even when he goes on, CNBC, which has millions of subscribers, like 800 people watch this idiot talk.
Right. Now, there's an interesting aspect with the timing. So, again, when he left Twitter and Ben Wittes sends the email the same day to Comey, something interesting happens exactly 2 weeks later.
What was that?
Exactly 2 weeks later. So the date, in fact, I want to check my calendar to tell you if I'm... So what was the date you said? He left December 26th? 28th. The day after Christmas? So
well, that's the other thing that's weird about the PR release, because he's got tweets in there from December 9th. So he's such a media expert. If he knows on December 9th that he's going to leave, it seems to me you'd either want that press release to go out the first week, certainly not after the second week of December. Everybody's off in Christmas and New Year's land.
I was just going to say,
put that out the first week of January, or like, what are you doing with a press release on December 28th? It makes no sense, and it makes me think it's a steganographic message, like, boom, go, something like that.
All right, so again, the date was the 28th of December in 2016.
Yeah.
And to kind of let me frame this up for people. In that year, in 2016, Sunday was the 25th. So Christmas was Sunday. The 28th was a Wednesday. So it's in the middle of the week.
Yeah, everybody's getting ready for the New Year's Eve party.
Right. Nobody's at work. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's doing anything. So Wednesday the 28th, and then New Year's Eve was that Saturday the 31st. So about as slow a news week as there possibly could be. Now, he says it on a Wednesday the 28th. Now, let's go to, bear with me, not even 2 weeks later, 13 days later. So on Tuesday, the 10th of January in 2017, less than 2 weeks later, Dr. Fauci tells everybody there's
going to be a surprise. Wait, you froze. He tells everybody there's going to be a surprise pandemic.
A surprise outbreak, right? He's at Georgetown.
Yes, they're unleashing the hounds in this moment.
There's going to be a surprise outbreak. And by putting Adam Sharp into the NATAZ, we've talked about this aspect before. If Adam Sharp is at NATAZ
he
at the right
TV
time,
news,
and give awards to Stephen Colbert for dancing and vaccines. So the dancing vaccine skit gets an Emmy Award for best public access, public service announcement, comedy routine after 10 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. Because Adam Sharp said so.
Did it get that?
Probably, the fact that Schitt's Creek wins anything is just an indication.
They're controlling all of that.
Right,
that's just it. Yeah. When he's working at Twitter, he's controlling who gets the blue check marks. I like the fact that somebody's using a blue check mark. It's at least somebody who's got a credit card.
And they didn't need him there. They didn't need him. In other words, the NATAZ thing kind of steers people's eyes. If you tell people, well, Schitt's Creek won 14 things, people who've never watched it
will watch it.
Oh, really? Martha, we should check out this Schitt's Creek. I heard it got 14 awards.
Just like when he was giving somebody a blue check when he was working at Twitter. This is like an approved of thing that you should look at. Don't pay attention to this over here.
That guy, pay attention to this guy. Right. Exactly. Don't pay attention.
So they're all into steering influence. And remember, we've looked at that video where Adam Sharp, I don't want to play it on here. We'll look at it again on subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen, and odyssey.com/@crowdsource the truth, and all the others. We'll look at that video again where Adam Sharp appeared on CNBC to tell them all about, and this was years into when he was working at Natas, and he goes onto CNBC to talk to them about Twitter. Do you remember that? Did we look at that?
And
with you?
It's interesting that you bring this up, because this is now jogging for me something that we're seeing right now playing out, and it's the same playbook. In other words, you keep identifying techniques
Yes.
that are in their playbook. And when we see other people do the same thing, it's important to point this out, okay?
I agree.
So when he shows up to an interview, and he's the guy from the Emmy Awards, daytime Emmy Awards, the crappy ones, and
why is he
talking to him
about Twitter?
Right. It's kind of weird, right? Are they still interviewing Steve Wozniak about Apple? I guess they do.
Sometimes, but that's different. He invented it, and Steve Jobs is dead and stuff. This guy, it's like
this makes no sense.
Executive from Twitter. What the hell are they talking to? And the other thing to remember is this interview is happening exactly at the moment that Jack Dorsey is in front of the Senate.
Right.
And they're talking about,
so you know who else they did this with? You know who else they're doing this with now? Rick Bright from BARDA. They keep saying, so Rick Bright from BARDA is very concerned about the bird flu. But Rick Bright hasn't been with BARDA. He quit his job as the whistleblower 4 years ago. Why do we keep going to Rick Bright as if he's running BARDA? Same playbook. It's like we go to Adam Sharp as if he's still at Twitter as the political guy. But he's not really.
Well, in his case, I think he was actually still doing stuff for Twitter, is my point about Adam Sharp, because why the hell are they talking to him?
You mean surreptitiously?
Yeah.
Not on the post. Yeah.
No, right. No, I think Twitter is not what they tell us. I don't think it's a social media platform. I think it's a fifth generation warfare weapon. And so what he's saying in this interview is that he wants it to be able to flourish with Black Lives Matter and the Arab Spring, because those things, they propagate beautifully through the platform. But he also, needs security on there, and he could slash the tires on his car. That would prevent somebody from stealing it, but it's not useful to him as a car. So he's advocating for censorship against disinformation, which is, of course, whatever.
Sounds kind of personalized. Though. Sounds kind of...
It's just whatever they don't like.
Caproneish. It sounds Caproneish.
Exactly. They're all
and where did he meet? Where did he meet Valerie Caproni? At CNN or something? C-SPAN. Okay, so... And then you bumped into somebody. I don't know how comfortable... I guess it's okay to say. We don't have to name the person. But somebody said to you, "Oh, Adam Sharp, yeah, He
said he's very close to the agencies."
Oh, he didn't say he used to work at Wendy's. I thought he said, "Oh, Adam Sharp, he used to work at Wendy's." What did the guy say? He said, "Adam Sharp, he what?"
Very close with the agencies. So see, this was C-SPAN 3, Security, Privacy, and Technology, a seminar featuring the incredibly annoying Valerie Caproni. Where is she? Here she is. And she's even, when she's younger, she's still kind of fat, but she's enormous now. This was 2009. And she's talking about, the FBI going dark, which is the whole communications are now proliferating on, consumers having access to end-to-end encryption and just all the different ways that people can communicate that the FBI can't tap into. And
Speaking of which, this was a topic that came up with the Joe Rogan interview for, he had Ray Kurzweil on. And everybody was like, that was the strangest interview he's ever done. Ray Kurzweil is so bizarre. And Ray Kurzweil was saying, we can secure these phones. And Joe Rogan's looking at him like, huh? What? And everybody was freaking out about that. And I think your point, you mentioned this before with the Sacramento thing and Apple. And I think that was a charade. I think that was a charade. I think Pompeo is like, we're really upset with Apple. And Tim Cook is like, everybody needs to have their privacy.
I don't know. I've seen some evidence.
I think we're watching a show. I think it's
you know this is true because you've been in the software industry. It's a cat and mouse game where, this version, they can break it.
Yeah.
The next version, now it's got some
Right.
upgrade. So, when I went to UAE and they had a special sticker on the box that said that FaceTime was hardware disabled, that made me believe that there was something about the encryption that they said you're not allowed to do this if you want to sell it to our country.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. There's some advanced technology in there without a doubt. I mean, you know about the facial tracking stuff in the Sony cameras. I mean,
they don't care about that. They just, as long as they can, Falcon Eye is the system that they use in the UAE to monitor every communication and everything. And so long as they can penetrate the security on the device, I think that's all they care about. But we should be heading over to our sponsor.
Yeah, I want to talk about this lady. I don't even know who she is. The lady in the thumbnail?
Vivian Schiller.
Not only do I recognize her, never even heard of her. I never heard you mention her.
Very important in the
I have no
Hunter
idea who
Biden
she is.
cover-up.
Yeah, I have no idea who she is. So I'm fascinated by the fact that we had 51 members of the intelligence community, names we've talked about on the show, and Clapper and Brennan, and they all signed this thing. And now, who Emma Jo Morris, I think from Breitbart, was just in front of Congress a day or three ago, right? And said, the government is in cahoots with the social media companies and the intelligence.
That was a while ago that she was in front of Congress.
Was that?
She was back. Because I spoke to her when she was there.
Oh, okay. So that's great. She must feel pretty vindicated this week. So that good for her.
And I think Trump mentioned her, or no, Turley mentioned her, and I saw her on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, listen, they did great reporting, and it was all suppressed by these people. We're going to talk about how the role that Vivian Schiller played, the incredible ties that she has to Adam Sharp, and we'll talk about the Aspen Institute, which is another one of these Washington, D.C. based kind of think tanks that I don't know that much about it. I did know someone who was a member of it when I was working in Hollywood, one of these rich dudes who people have seen my interview, my phone, recorded phone call with this guy, Josh Greer. He was the CEO of Real D. That's how I know him. It was this big 3D company that bought Lenny Lipton's company to have his technology to make the 3D projectors. So this guy, Josh, made millions and millions of dollars when their company, I guess, went public or something like that. There was some event with the stock where they made all of them millions of dollars.
Yeah, but dude, you find out at the end that Lenny is CIA.
No.
Which means
that was John Merritt, not Lenny.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought Lenny was CIA. John Merritt was CIA.
Not that I know of. I don't think Lenny was CIA. Yeah. Lenny thought I was crazy with all this stuff.
The guy on his deathbed that you found
Merritt.
out.
Nothing to do with all this other stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got confused there. All right. Well, look, I'm excited. I want to learn more about the laptop and this lady and how Adam Sharp is manipulating public perception. So we'll be right back in 5 minutes. This has been Web of Deception. I'm John Cohen. Thanks for joining.
It's one small step for man,
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Yeah. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. She says that I'm cool. have for fun. Don't really know my mental. Let me give you the picture like stencil. Falling out in the drought. No flow rain was pouring down. See that pain was all around. See my mom was kinda loud. Didn't know which way to turn. Flow was cool, but I still felt burned. Energy up, you can feel my surge. I'ma kill everything like this burn.
It's one small step for man.
What you know about